Hello, Kawasaki KLE500. Rest in peace, KLR650. Kawasaki just introduced us to the KLE500, the first Japanese adventure bike in the 450 class. It's about time, but did Kawasaki also kill the KLR in doing so? Here are 5 key aspects that make the KLE a better bike and a better choice than purchasing a new KLR. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. Unless your head's been stuck in the sand, you have undoubtedly seen Kawasaki's release and information on the KLE500. Finally, a proper small capacity adventure bike from one of the big 4 out of Japan. Kawasaki certainly came out swinging with this offering. For riders that will only ride Japanese bikes, you finally have a bike that has lit a new fire in the small capacity adventure bike market. But what Kawasaki has done does not come without any casualties. And in this case, it appears Kawasaki has killed the venerable KLR650. All right, let's start with suspension. The KLE500 has been reported to have 210 millimeter of suspension travel, I think gonna be in the front forks, and then 200 millimeter of suspension travel of that rear wheel. It's reported, it's not confirmed because Kawasaki hasn't came out with those specific details. Now, it's very similar in travel to the KLR650. It's within 3 to 5 millimeter of travel, but the big difference is the KLE500 has upside down forks. And from what is being reported, they are adjustable, where the KLR650 is still using 100-year-old technology and telescopic forks. So we are coming up to a much more modern version, and then you can do a lot with those forks on the KLE500. The shock is fairly basic, but I am sure within a very short period of time, there will be more shock options for that as well. So suspension wise, just simply from having the upside down fork up front, you don't get that torsional load and flex that you do in a telescopic fork. This suspension on the KLE500 is just gonna hold up better and be a better choice. The next area where the KLE500 is going to be better than the KLR650 is the transmission. I had a 98 KLR650 many years ago. And the one thing that I really hated about that bike, especially if I was doing a lot of road riding to get places, was that 5-speed transmission. I was living in California at the time. In order to stay with traffic, which is typically 10 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, I was doing everything I could on that bike to keep it going. And there's just some places where you end up on interstate highway and it was unavoidable, and I hated that. Well, the KLE500, looking at that engine and looking at the specs that are available on the Ninja 500, it is a 6-speed transmission. And from my standpoint, I could not be happier if I was wanting to get a Japanese small capacity adventure bike. That 5-speed transmission with the parallel twin engine means cruising all day long on the road will be very comfortable. The engine will be able to do it. It'll keep the RPMs lower, and it should also provide more fuel efficiency. So I really think this engine and having that 6-speed transmission is going to make people want to go to that bike and maybe even ditch their KLR 650s because they love the Kawasaki brand to move to the KLE500. All right, here is going to be more of a sensitive topic, and that's going to be weight. We don't have reported weights yet on the KLE500, but we do know what the KLR 650 weighs, and that is at 460 pounds. When it went from Gen 2 to Gen 3, it got fat, it added weight. And I know there was a lot of displeased riders out there when they saw that added weight. Now, the KLE500 with a 451cc parallel twin with that frame, it's gonna be similar to what the CF Moto is coming in at. And I think, and I'll put the corrected one below, but it's around 420, 430 pounds. I expect the KLE500 to come in around that range. I think that's about as good as you can get without getting super premium parts and then removing things like your ABS pump. Those things add weight, emission stuff adds weight. So I'm guessing around that range. So the KLE500 is likely going to shave anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds off of what the KLR650 was at in a smaller, more compact package, so it should be easier to ride. And certainly if you drop your bike, I'd like to shave 30 to 40 pounds off of any bike in order to be able to pick it up. So clearly the KLE500 would be the choice if you just look at weight numbers. Lighter bike, more fun, easier to ride. All right, the next thing we'll look at is the horsepower numbers, and then also we'll take into consideration the engine itself. So the KLE500 with that twin cylinder 451cc engine, if you look at the specs for the Ninja 500, it's putting out about 50 horsepower. Now, we don't know if Kawasaki is going to detune that engine a bit to get more torque and maybe lower the horsepower numbers. So if we look at the others in this range, they're all around 42 to 45, 46 horsepower. I expect the KLE500 is going to be somewhere in that range. Now, where the KLR650, it's grunting out 40 horsepower, but where it makes up for it is that single cylinder puts out a lot of torque. So the torque numbers are not going to be the same between these bikes. The KLR is going to have a bit more torque than that parallel twin. However, the way the parallel twins deliver power is going to be a little bit more tractable and usable than it will be off a single cylinder. So engine wise, I think it's going to have a higher rev limit, higher RPMs. It's going to make the peak horsepower at a much higher range. So how you ride that bike is going to be a little bit different than you do with the 650, where you're just chugging it. This bike, you're going to have to run it in a higher RPM range, but it'll be smooth doing it. Like I mentioned before, that 5-speed transmission and having close to the same horsepower numbers, I'll give up some torque just for a better package, a more refined package, and that coming in that engine in the KLE500. The number one reason why I think Kawasaki has killed off the KLR650 and why new bike purchases are going to plummet once the KLE500 hits showroom floors is the price. A brand new KLE500 with ABS is going to list at $65.99, somewhere in there, $65.99. The KLR650, with all of these deficiencies, compared to the KLE500, is $700 more. It's $72.99. And I cannot see how anyone would go in to the Kawasaki dealership wanting to buy a Japanese reliable motorcycle and seeing both of those on the showroom floor and would choose the KLR650 over the KLE500. I know if I was in the market, I would not go with a heavier bike, lower horsepower, less refined, and frankly, not a great suspension compared to what you could do with the KLE500. So the way I'm looking at this, of course, this is my own opinion and kind of seeing what's happening with the market, is that I think the KLR650 is soon to be discontinued because it's being replaced with the KLE500. Kawasaki did a few modifications. They put fuel injection on it to reduce some emissions. They did a few tweaks here and there. They added ABS, but really that engine is the same engine they've been using for 30 years. There really wasn't much changes to it, maybe a few tweaks. I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm projecting that I don't think they want to continue to make that particular bike, especially with the KLE500 coming out, and the interest in that bike is going to be quite high from a lot of different riders. From KLR650 riders, for other riders that are wanting to go from the large capacity adventure bikes into something smaller, Japanese reliability, Kawasaki brand. They're not going to pick the 650, they're going to go with the 500. So those are all the reasons why I think the KLR650 is dead. New bike sales, I think when the current inventory is sold out, we are not going to see those bikes in the shops anymore. All right, so those are my reasons why I think the KLR650 is dead. There's going to be the legacy ones out there. They're going to go forever. There's still going to be parts for them, but new bike sales, I think it's over. I don't think we're going to see those bikes in the showroom floors once the current inventory is sold out. And the KLE, they've produced enough of them to meet sales demands. Now, let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with me that the KLR650 is dead? Leave that in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think about the KLE500 and the 5 categories or the 5 areas that I think why the KLE500 is a better bike than the KLR650. So look forward to hearing from you. Remember, you can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. So get out on your bike and ride it as much as you possibly can. Thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.